Welcome aboard, everybody.
Oh, that's her. That's the roto lady. Welcome aboard, everybody.
Okay, try not to yell so much today. I
I'm
have to
sorry.
sit right next to you, Leonard.
It's on. We're here on Super Sunday. That's right, Super Sunday. And by the way, if you missed Andrea on Friday, forget about it. It's the greatest podcast ever, certainly by a solo female. I don't want to separate the males and the females, right?
You're my biggest fan,
I'm the
Leonard.
biggest fan. Okay, so here we are. We'll talk a little Super Bowl.
Oh,
but let's throw out a Genius of the Day question, okay?
Okay. I already got this right, by the way.
Okay, Genius of the Day. Andrea got it right. All right, here it is. What pitcher has the most 100-mile-an-hour pitches in 2022? And it's a long shot. The most 100-mile-an-hour pitches by a starting pitcher in 2022, okay? The number one pitcher threw 337 pitches over 100 miles an hour. The number two pitcher, 92. So I was flabbergasted.
Okay, say that again.
Okay?
So the guy that threw the most 100-mile-an-hour or more pitches threw 337 of them.
Yeah.
And the next guy on the list,
92?
number two, 92.
I'm not even sure if this is. I'm sure it's right.
That's less than a third.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, that's pretty good. And we got a couple of Genius of the Day questions to talk about. Well, the whole thing. Now, when it comes to the World Baseball Classic, Andrea.
Yes, Leonard.
Who do you root for? Do you root for do you root for a country, or do you root for your favorite players? Personally, I don't want my favorite players to participate in the WBC. I want them ready to make that championship run. What do you think?
I'm rooting for my home country, America, the best country in the world.
Okay.
But I'm absolutely interested in watching the Dominican team. I mean, who wouldn't be? Look at these guys that are playing.
Well, it could be very exciting, but, you got the Dominican team, the USA team, the Colombia. You got a lot of good teams. It's going to be exciting. But then once they stop playing in the WBC and they go to spring training, think about what a letdown that is for some of the players.
The charisma that these players have, these Dominican players.
The whole thing.
They have such charisma. I don't know. Maybe
charisma? Do I have
it's
charisma?
Like charisma, passion, hard work, just...
Oh, come on. That's bull dinky. All the players have it. All right?
They don't.
Yes, they do. The players have
come on.
it. All right, let's go to the Super Bowl. You can't be on Super Bowl Sunday and not talk about the Super Bowl.
I talk about the food that we're eating.
What do you think about the Super Bowl? You got the Eagles against who they play? Kansas City. What do you think about the Super Bowl?
Okay, all you have to do, this has to be the easiest game to be an analyst for. Because you don't need to know shit. Except for that they have to get the ball down the field. They have to control the game. They have to put up great offense, pass the ball, and avoid sacks.
So what's in a very couple of words, give me a synopsis of what you think the Super Bowl will be.
Eagles can control the game. Their offensive line. They control the environment, right?
And why is that?
Because Jason Kelce... I'm sorry. I can't do this.
He pulls and creates a great offense. Now,
I want to see the mother throw the coin.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Now, let's talk about the Super Bowl itself. What do you think it's going to take to win the Super Bowl? Okay? I'll start off. You must run the football.
You must stop the pass.
You must control the line of scrimmage.
You must make blocks.
You can't miss tackles.
You must stop the run.
And you can't let up. You got to hustle the whole game.
What? You can't allow the bomb.
And you can't fumble.
What's a bomb?
That's a long pass.
And both teams must rush the passer.
There you go.
And whoever wants it more will win.
And, well, that's the bottom line. The final thing, whoever wants it more is going to win.
They didn't sell out this game?
No, That's not true.
Oh, it isn't?
Game 1, Super Bowl 1,
was not a sellout.
Was not a sellout. And there were 2 networks that were broadcasting Super Bowl 1 between Kansas City and Green Bay.
I saw yesterday there were tickets. $3,200 they started at.
I don't know. All I know is coming into the Super Bowl 1, there was considerable animosity between the AFL and the NFL, but they had Kansas City against Green Bay, and I'll tell you what, the Chiefs had an 11-2 record during the regular season. They defeated Buffalo in the championship game. The Packers were 12-2, but it turned out to be a very exciting game. And the game, Super Bowl 1, remains the only Super Bowl that was broadcast on 2 networks at the same time live.
Simulcast.
NBC and CBS both had the rights. So there you go.
Interesting, because one of them had the right to the AFL and the other one had the right to the NFL.
That's true. Now, as I promised you, talk about a record. I mean, a rule.
We're going
to talk about
today we're going to talk a lot about stolen bases and the fastest players in baseball.
I believe that the rule of throwing over twice and then not being able to throw over the first or third time, that rule will last no longer than 1 month. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, who knows with this guy Manfred? He doesn't like to admit he's wrong.
Well,
so they'll probably just go along with it.
They're not going along with it.
What do you think it's going to do to baseball? So here's the deal.
It's going to screw up the entire game of baseball, in my opinion. It has to be. You'll see what'll happen. Runners are going to come out, and it's not the fastest runner. It's the smartest runner. Runners will know how far a lead they could take, and rather than inch their way out to the lead, they're just going to go out to the lead, okay? 6 to 10 feet is about 6 to 10 feet is about the leads that runners take, okay?
So
I think they're going to go right out to 6 feet, right out to 10 feet, where they know if they get there, they will be able to steal, and it's going to cause the pitchers. They have to throw to first.
Listen, the runner I don't see that. I just don't see that scenario happening. A runner isn't going to inch out any more than he normally does.
But he's not going to inch out. He's going to go right out to the spot to intimidate the pitcher.
Right, and then he's going to get thrown out because he's not safe going out that far.
No, he is safe. He goes out to the spot. He knows he's safe, and he knows he could steal. He'll go out there.
He's not safe if the pitcher has any chance of throwing him out and picking him off.
Well, what they're going to do is they're going to work on getting out to the spot and causing and stealing bases. You'll see.
I don't see it.
It's not going to last for more than a week.
I don't see it, Leonard.
All right, we had a couple of signings last night, and some of them were related to potential closers. And the first one we'll talk about is Alex Reyes.
All right, go ahead. Seriously, go ahead.
All right. Who will be the closer for the season for the Dodgers? Alex Reyes, who will most likely miss the first 2 months of the season. He missed the entire 2022. He's expected to return before the All-Star breaks, and the Dodgers expect him to make a big impact. Alex Reyes, okay? So
Wasn't he supposed to be... Wait a minute. Is this the same guy that pitched for the Cardinals?
The Cardinals,
and he was supposed to be a starter?
Supposed to be a
closer.
Closer, okay? He was supposed to be closer.
But he wanted to be a starter.
I don't know where you got that from.
I remember arguing with you about it.
Well, he battled a range of different injuries. He did not pitch at any level in 2022, but... remember, he could be the closer in L.A. He's got a couple of people to pass, but we'll see. And, of course, J.J. Bleday for A.J. Puck. How about that, Trey?
Well, I think that, the Marlins ballpark is great for pitchers, but A.J. Puck has never been healthy. they say it's a full season, but it was like 66 innings last year out of the bullpen. He's actually never made a start at the major league level, even though he was raised to be a starter. He's got thrown in the bullpen because he's so fragile. Now, going over to Miami, it's not going to please him that he can't fit into the starting rotation because Miami already has a full starting rotation. He's going to go into the bullpen, and he's probably not going to be the closer. So, how can anybody trust this guy? J.J. Bleday, on the other hand, might be somebody to look into.
Well, we talked about J.J. Bleday on our Arizona Fall League report last year, but Puck led the Athletics bullpen with 76 strikeouts in 62 relief appearances. He was picked by Oakland as the number 6 pick in 2016.
Yes, and every year we're like, okay, AJ Puck is on the mend.
That's right.
AJ Puck is on the mend, and he never was really on the mend.
But JJ Bleday was selected number 4 in 2019 by the Marlins.
Last year at AAA, he hit 20 homers with a .228 batting average and a .365 on base percentage. But when he got called up in the majors, he hit .167 with a .277 on base percentage, 5 home runs, and 238 plate appearances. So his defense is horrible, too. I just don't know how far he's going to get to be.
And he's not a good hitter. And he has minor league options. So he's not even guaranteed a spot in the A's outfield on opening day.
All right.
Okay? Even though he can play all 3 outfield positions.
Right, Leonard.
So there you go. That's the Puck for Bleday.
I mean, it hurts my opinion of Bleday that a team was able to get him for Puck. For AJ Puck.
Why? Puck has been...
Because Puck's...
He doesn't stink. He's never had a chance. If Puck gets a chance to pitch in the right spot, he could be a good one. All right? Could be a good one. We talked about this new rule of stealing bases.
Plus, there's no shifts.
And but that's not the rule we're talking about.
Is that going to help steals?
No.
Stop yelling at me, or I'm just going to walk away from you.
You can't walk away from me. You can't even get out of your chair right now. You can't. But we're talking about the rule. The fastest players in Major League Baseball could have a field day this year, right?
Yeah.
They really could steal a ton of bases. So let me ask you, the breakdown of the...
Most of these guys can't get on base. So that's the biggest problem I have with most of these guys.
That's a great point.
A lot of these guys are... Some of them are good that we're going to talk about. A lot of them, we're going to say the same thing over and over, that they have 35, 40% strikeout rates, right, and they swing at everything. And pitchers... And a lot of these guys are young. So... while they're very fast and they've been able to get away with it up till now, it's going to be tough. But anyway, let's talk about these guys because I did some extra research on them.
Okay, so who are the fastest players in baseball who, with this new rule, have a chance to really steal a ton of bases?
Don't you think the shift is going to help too? Not being able to shift, is that going to help the runners or not?
No, I don't think so.
Bobby Witt. Look, we know Bobby Witt's positives are that he stole 30 bases last year. He hit 31 doubles, 6 triples, and his 81% success rate on the base pass.
81%? That's pretty good.
He's the fastest player in baseball. These guys can run like 30 miles an hour. Did you know that?
He's the fastest player in baseball.
I'm sure they don't. 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
6.4 60-yard dash. So it takes him 6.4 seconds to get 60 yards and a 1.54 second 10 yards.
Wow.
Anyway, Fangraphs and MLB both grade Bobby Witt's speed at a 60 on the 20 to 80 scouting scale. Can you even imagine what a guy looks like if they're giving him an 80?
But he led all qualifying players in sprint speed. Okay, so Bobby Witt. Throw me out a prediction for Bobby Witt.
Do you know who the number 2 guy was? Among all players with 100-plus competitive runs?
No.
Well, Trey Turner was number 2, but Shohei Ohtani was number 3.
Okay.
What was your question?
I forgot.
All right, Corbin Carroll.
Corbin Carroll.
Outfielder for Arizona Diamondbacks.
Corbin Carroll, the top rookie maybe this year.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, Corbin Carroll.
He might be the fastest player in 2023
He didn't qualify last year because he only played 32 games. So he could have beat Bobby Witt, but we're not sure. He only had limited time in the majors, but he is in the conversation, and he's a guy that they graded 80 for speed, okay? The scouts graded him an 80, and Bobby Witt is 60.
Right.
So, all right, he's 22 years old. That's it. That's
Corbin Carroll.
I didn't do any research on him.
Be prepared to draft Corbin Carroll.
Does he have a spot to play every day?
Yes, where, in Arizona?
Let me look.
Yeah, Corbin Carroll. It might be the fastest player in baseball.
So what? Okay? That doesn't guarantee him a playing spot.
And in Arizona, yeah, he's got a playing spot in Arizona. Take a look at the Arizona outfield. You got Jake McCarthy, Alec Thomas, Corbin Carroll, Yarrow Muniz. You got Pavin Smith and Seth Beer. You got a lot of names.
I got him logged in. I got him on here at RotoWire as the starting center fielder.
Right, got a lot of names.
27% strikeout rate, 7% walk rate. Can play all three outfield positions.
Let's say hello to the chat room.
He's a fastie. Let's see what he did.
Look at this chat room. Are you kidding me? We got Anthony D.B. Miller, Boston Paul, Chris from Cambridge, Chris Gallo, Daniel Ferrara, Eddie Heckman, George is here, James Caplion, King App, Laura is back in town, Maine Nick is here, Mal Powell, Merrill Mitchell, Sonny Clark. Good morning, and Sonny Clark will be on this afternoon in just a couple hours.
Corbin Carroll stole 62 bases last year.
Timothy Hooker, Tommy Johnson, White Sox out. Go ahead.
Wait. Corbin Carroll stole 33 bases last year.
Okay, Corbin Carroll is a runner.
But he only stole 2 in the majors.
He could lead the major league in stolen bases this year. But Trey Turner is considered the third fastest, but he was the fastest player in baseball for most of his career. Okay.
He's got a career stat line: 230 stolen bases, 84.59% success rate on the base paths.
And these are the guys.
But his last 40 steal season was in 2018, and he hasn't reached the 30 stolen base marker since 2021.
That's going to change. Yes, that's going to change.
Wait, how do you say it's going to change?
Because he can run and steal wherever, whenever he wants.
When was the last time you saw a guy have his stolen bases drop 2 years in a row, and then all of a sudden he started stealing bases again?
But there's a reason for it. It's because of the new rule.
Bullshit.
You'll see. All right, let's go.
How old is Turner? He's almost 30 now.
Okay, still.
You can't expect him to steal 40 bases, even if he's the fastest player in baseball.
I'll bet you Trey Turner steals 40 bases. You want to bet?
How much you want to bet?
I'll bet anything you want. Don't
shake my hand.
Don't shake my hand.
Shake
okay.
it.
There you go.
Yes,
all right, let's talk about Milwaukee.
He only got caught 3 times last year.
Let's talk about Milwaukee. Now, the Brewers outfield.
I already talked a lot about Garrett Mitchell and the whole Milwaukee Brewers outfield yesterday, or Friday.
You did that, but still.
So I have a lot to say about Garrett Mitchell.
Okay, go ahead, baby.
Go ahead. He's a starting center fielder probably in a very, very crowded Milwaukee outfield this year.
It's crowded. Christian Yelich, Garrett Mitchell, Brian Anderson, Tyrone Taylor, Sal Frelick, and Blake Perkins. They got a lot of names out there.
I didn't realize...
And Jesse Winker, too. He could be an outfielder. Go ahead.
Jesse Winker.
Look, we're not having a good day here today, so bear with us. Go ahead.
I didn't realize when I talked about this Garrett Mitchell on Friday that he is such a fast runner. Clearly, he's one of the fastest in baseball. But he's got some serious problems, this guy. He hit .311 at the major league level, and which is unbelievable, but his batting average on balls in play was .548, which is completely unsustainable, and absolutely his contact rate was only 54%. Just looking at those two stats alone, you have to expect a huge regression as far as him getting on base and stuff. He strikes out over 40% of the time and walks less than 10% of the time. I don't think he's going to get everyday play because of Jesse Winker. Even though Winker's not great defensively, they have just an overload of possibilities in their outfield, and if Garrett, and yes, he can run, but he's got to get on base before he can do that.
You remember Jesse Winker when we saw him in the Arizona Fall League? He led the Arizona Fall League in hitting.
He's still very good, and he's a great sleeper this year.
Okay, Bubba Thompson.
Yeah.
Texas made so many moves, but Bubba Thompson, if you're looking for stolen bases, you have to pay attention to Bubba Thompson.
Last year, he was playing for another team. He got traded to... What did he do? He was called up for his big league debut in August, and from August on, he hit 1 home run, 9 RBIs, and 18 stolen bases in 55 games. He again strikes out 30.9% of the time, and he can't hit for any power. So this guy is strictly a stolen base guy. He has only 6 extra base hits in 181 plate appearances. There's absolutely no question about his speed, and he does play left, center, and right, but he's not the starter in any of those positions.
But he's the 4th outfielder behind Brad Miller, Leody Taveras, Adolis Garcia. Let's see, Mitch Garver could be the DH on that team.
And it looks like Josh Smith,
too. But Bubba Thompson could be the number 4 guy in the Texas outfield, and he's going to steal 30 or more bases.
Yeah, and he does play all 3 outfield positions, so it makes his versatility good.
Absolutely. Jose Siri.
Yeah.
Tampa outfielder.
27 now.
What do you think of him?
49 games for the Astros before he got traded to the Rays at the trade deadline. And then when he did go to the trade to Tampa, he played as their primary center fielder for the rest of the year. He batted .241 with a .292 on base percentage, 4 home runs, 8 steals in 56 games for the Rays. He is going to open the season as the Tampa Bay's opening center fielder.
All right.
And he, once again, strikes out 33.2% of the time. He ended the season with a .213 batting average. So this guy is not going to help with batting average, but again, absolutely useful, especially if he gets to play every day. The 14 stolen bases were in about 100 games.
Right.
He didn't get a chance to play that much until he came to Tampa, but he did good in the outfield, so they're going to let him. They also have, they lost Kevin Kiermaier.
But they got a Rosarina, and they got Manny Margot and Josh Lowe, right?
Josh Lowe.
Excuse me. So they've got
Eli White.
Yeah, they've got.
Are you going to look at let's look at the depth charts for the.
Well, Eli White's over in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And Texas traded Eli White to Atlanta last year, and Eli White could steal a bunch of bases.
In Atlanta, do you think he's going to get a chance to play?
Well,
first of all, he's injured right now. So.
Okay, but who's the left fielder in Atlanta? I don't think Ozuna is going to be the left fielder. They're talking about possibly getting Grisham from San Diego.
Is Ozuna not a good outfielder, or they just don't like him?
Ozuna is not a good player. He's just not. Atlanta doesn't want him, but they don't know what to do with him. Okay.
Atlanta doesn't want him, but they don't know what to do with him.
And what about Baltimore?
But they're going to pay him, so they might as well play him.
What about Baltimore? This is our jorge Mateo.
Okay, I like this guy.
35 stolen bases.
I really like this guy,
and he didn't even have consistent playing time.
I love this guy for AL only, especially. I shouldn't be saying that because we're doing our AL only draft starting tomorrow. I shouldn't be talking about Jorge Mateo, but I'm going to anyway.
You got Mateo.
Let me talk about him for a minute.
Go ahead. I'll say again.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Last year, 35 stolen bases, 25 doubles, 7 triples, 27% strikeout rate. The problem with him, I think his value is going to go down a lot because of this, and it wasn't very high to begin with. But in 2021, he played second base, third base, shortstop, and outfield. This year, we're going into the season, he's only qualified at shortstop. So he is the main shortstop there in Baltimore, and he finished second in stolen bases with 35. I don't know how high he's going to go, especially in this AL only, but I'm definitely going to keep an eye on him. I don't care about his .221 batting average because I'm surprised he's not the fastest guy in baseball because he also got an 80 grade speed and a 30.1 mile per hour sprint speed.
Okay. All right. So that's the stolen base thing. Remember, I am predicting that.
Who do you think's going to win? Whoever loses the coin toss? The Super Bowl? Who do you think's going to win?
The team that wants it the most. Okay, now let's go back to baseball where we know what we're talking about. I have an announcement to make. The Atlanta Braves made an announcement this morning. Pay attention to the announcement of the Atlanta Braves. Mike Soroka, okay? Are you ready? This is a drop the mic moment, okay?
Who cares?
Mike Soroka wants to go by the name Michael. So from now on, he will not be Mike. He will be Michael. And that's the announcement that the Braves made.
Wait, who's the guy that just changed their name that I couldn't find in the...
I have no idea. But you got that. And a change of news. Ronald, where you going?
I got to turn the heater down.
Ronald Acuna is now cleared to play for Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic, okay? And he just came off a major injury. Now, I'm going to tell you.
He didn't just come off of it.
He had a major injury. There's nothing wrong with Acuna wanting to represent his country.
Absolutely.
However, if he's going to re-aggravate that injury, it'll put the Braves in a tough predicament. I say your team comes first, and he should not be playing. What do you think?
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I really do. I would as a manager, I would probably not want him to play. As a fan, I would want him to play and represent Venezuela, especially if I was Venezuelan. It depends on who you are, what you think of this.
No, I think Major League Baseball...
I already heard what you think,
okay? Comes first.
I already heard what you thought.
I mean, look, they got Michael Harris, they got Eddie Rosario, they got Marcell Ozuna. They don't want Marcell. They don't even have a left fielder. They cannot afford to lose Acuna. And as I said, they're talking about Trent Grisham, okay?
Trent Grisham's mom likes him.
They're talking about Trent Grisham going to Atlanta, okay? So there you go. Although San Diego is looking for Vaughn Grissom. That could be a little steep, right?
I don't know.
All right. Did we answer the trivia question?
The pitch, I don't know. Look in the chat room. Why don't you pay attention?
I did look in the chat room. But the pitcher with the most 100-mile-an-hour strikeouts.
No, pitches. The guy who threw the most 100-mile-an-hour pitches, 300 and something of them, was...
I forgot his name.
Hunter Green.
Hunter Green threw the most 100-mile pitches.
Yes.
In Major League Baseball.
That's right, Leonard.
Last year. By a lot. So there you go.
3-1.
3-1. Now, Christian Yelich is the only player, this was supposed to be a question, but I gave the answer. The only player in baseball history to have 2 seasons with at least a .325 batting average, 30 home runs, and 20 stolen bases.
Too bad it wasn't recent.
Well, not recent. But if you were a Brewers fan, you know that Robin Yount is a Hall of Famer who played his entire career with the Brewers. But I'll bet you didn't know that. Yount is just tremendous. But
why'd you bring him up?
I don't know why I brought him. Just because I'm bringing up Christian Yelich, okay?
Oh.
So the point is that Milwaukee, 6 Brewer players in 2022 had at least one sacrifice bunt and a sacrifice fly. Okay? So
big deal.
How about that? So just keep in mind. Now, keep in mind, Aaron Ashby.
He's not going to be ready for opening day. Beware, fantasy friends.
He's behind schedule. He's been dealing with shoulder fatigue. He's 24. So
I loved this guy going into last season.
Yep. Ashby
I loved him.
Had a 3-start showing in June, but... What are you doing?
Nothing.
But Ashby, look, his first big league season resulted in 107 innings, but he had a 4 ERA. So now David Peralta was traded to the Dodgers. So now they got Mookie Betts, Chris Taylor, Trace Thompson, Jason Hayward, Bradley Zimmer, Steven Duggar, James Outman, or David Peralta. What do you think? She doesn't think.
No, okay? I don't. David Peralta isn't even on that team, is he?
He was traded to the Dodgers.
Okay, I don't care about him. He's
Okay.
35 years old.
He's 35.
I mean,
all right, 35. Just tell you, he's the most experienced in left field. He could contend if Miguel Vargas doesn't pick up the pace. So the Dodgers are adding one of the top remaining free agents in David Peralta.
He's a top free agent? Oh, good grief.
Are you playing hockey or baseball? Okay. And where are you going now?
Just do the show. Just do it.
She just walked off. How about Max Muncy? Max Muncy.
What about him? Go ahead.
Max Muncy.
Old too.
Okay, he's old, and I'm 75, and you're still with me. Okay? Max Muncy. Weeks before spring training last year, he revealed that he had suffered a partially torn UCL. He was behind, but now he's not. So, Max Muncy, back with the Dodgers and healthy. Andrew Chafin signed with Arizona. What do you think? She doesn't think, okay? Chafin's a good relief pitcher. I'm surprised the Mets didn't go after him. But Andrew Chafin. Now, here's a closer for you. Ken Giles, okay, held a showcase for teams last Wednesday. Haven't heard if any team is really jumped off the page, but he's still just 32, shut down by Tommy John, so he really took a look. Anything you want? Are you in or are you out?
I'm just listening.
You're just listening.
Yeah, I can't keep up with all of this. I can't keep up with it. You scroll so fast through the notes, I can't even look at them. And they don't even make sense. So, seriously, I don't...
Well, maybe you should have told me this yesterday. When
you just keep adding stuff to it.
Left field is something, they're talking about Esteban Florio. They gave 7 reasons why he could make the team and play. But the big deal is the Yankee shortstop. And Oswaldo Cabrera steps up, and he could take the starting shortstop job by storm.
Yeah, he's good. He's good defensively. He's pretty good offensively. I think he's going to get even better. I do think he's going to play shortstop. They could put Gleyber Torres somewhere else. Who's the other guy that they have for shortstop?
Well, they got kind of Falafa, they got Peraza, and they got Volpe. Management gave Volpe the green light to make a run at...
Volpe's not coming up anytime soon.
Oh, I beg to differ. He's not ready yet, but he will get promoted at some point this year.
Right,
so
with 2 people like Kiner Falafa and Oswaldo Peraza, both qualified and good at shortstop. They're going to bring up Volpe when he has 0 experience.
Well, they would prefer Peraza at shortstop. So if you don't know who to draft as the Yankee shortstop, they're preferring Peraza. Boston Paul is here. Good morning to you, my friend. Nice to see you. Thanks, everybody, for being in the chat room. We really appreciate it.
Why would anybody choose Volpe over Peraza?
Because Volpe stole, 50 bases last year.
At Double-A.
Doesn't matter. 25 home runs and 50 stolen bases, all right?
Please.
The Yankees would love to see Peraza. Love it. And kind of Falefa will be more of a utility player. Volpe just had 99 plate appearances at AAA last year, all right? So it wouldn't surprise to see Volpe starting. So if you don't know who to draft, it's not Volpe. It's Peraza. What about Michael Fulmer?
God. You have a crush on this guy?
Who, Fulmer?
You love this guy.
He could be the closer.
He's not a starter. He's a horrible starter.
He could be the closer in Chicago at some point during the season.
Okay.
They're landing. The Cubs got one of the few quality relievers. He was a Rookie of the Year in 2016. Okay, and Fulmer was rock solid as a setup man and as a closer for Detroit. Where's D.B. Miller? Where's Anthony Miller? He's not back. Took a break. All right. So anyway, Fulmer was rock solid as a setup man. He was a closer. He had some command issues. But still, he could be a pretty good pitcher. Now, don't forget, they have Brad Boxberger and Rowan Wick, and that's it.
And he is horrible with walks. He walks way too many batters. Last year, He had a 3.39 ERA, but a 1.36 WHIP and 67 appearances. That's 63 and 2/3 innings. He walked 28 and struck out 61.
There you go.
So he's his walks are horrible. He's got to be 35 by now.
No, he'll turn 30 next month.
Oh God.
Turn 30 next month. Now.
All right.
Moving down to
he's not on the 40-man roster either, by the way. The Cubs 40-man roster is full. So somebody has to be run through waivers.
Okay.
Maybe he is on the... I don't know. He probably is.
Well, that's a good guess.
They probably have to get someone else.
All right. Okay. Joey Wendell is... Where'd you go again?
I'll just listen, Leonard.
Oh, she's just listening. This is a tough morning. Joey Wendell's the shortstop in St. Louis. And that's where we're going to leave off. All right. Want to thank everybody. Sorry for the show being a little discombobulated, but that's what it is. Thanks to everybody for being here. Laura, Malpal, Merrill, Mitchell, Sonny Clark, Tommy Johnson. Listen to Sonny Clark later. King Hap, Joe from Staten Island, Joe Galena, James Caplion, Eddie Heckman. Everybody's here. Boston Paul, Chris from Cambridge, Chris Gallo, Daniel Ferrara, Eddie. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you again tomorrow. How do you shut it off?